chat? How we doing today? Welcome everybody. We are fresh off a fun evening yesterday where we had our first sale of our ThingTuber experiment with the Reverend Dr. Egyptologist P.E. Cooper and myself, and we got our first sale, chat. It was pretty cool. So if you haven't seen that, check out the VOD on that one. And I'm just going to confirm my mic is working because I feel like this is just part of the thing. You got to test to make sure. I'd also realized PE was kind of quiet yesterday, so I got to make sure he's... Okay, the music is a little loud. He's trying to make everything dialed in, chat. We're getting there. And then you gotta wait for the delay, which is sweet. Hold on. Okay, it's a little better. Let me do one more. Okay, I think that's better. All right, chat. Hope you're having a great Saturday. Welcome, everybody. Hope you're... I am going to get a haircut tomorrow, by the way. So it's weird streaming and like, oh shit, I got to actually think about things. I mean, chat, you're a human. You're probably an adult. If you're not an adult, don't watch this. Or actually, no, it's chill. Actually, if you're... I don't know what's... I should because I'm a lawyer, but anyway, chat. Yeah, the moral of the story is that it helps up your hair game if you stream. So motivation. I wanted to do a little test on and show you guys some of the host fabric updates we've made of late. It's getting there. It's really, really getting there, chat. And it's starting to look cool. And I'm kind of getting excited about it. Now that song. So I'm doing that as the intro song, by the way. And then now I'm gonna move over to like the lo-fi on SoundCloud because it is a jam. And shout out to PE on that one too. Studying lo-fi. Perfect. Okay. I like it. So yeah, chat. Today, what I wanted to do is jump into some of the updates and just see if this works. Because like truly the goal behind this chat was I wanted to do a podcast called MONDAI. Or it was going to be Sunday. And then I realized you have to wait 24 hours for YouTube to let you stream. And so then I had to switch it to Monday because I couldn't... I had to wait 24 hours. And so I did the first test and I tested it with a Streamlabs version of an AI avatar. And it works, you know, functionally well, but it only allowed you to kind of like narrow in on the questions around the streaming process and like what is the streaming setup or like in game or like something that's happening live, which is cool, right? But also I wanted to expand that out into like other AI topics. And so that is why, or that's the inception rather of Host Fabric, which is basically these characters on the screen here. And these homies are, let me make them a little bigger. So this is, and it's kind of cool. Maybe I'll put them around like this the whole time. So this is ChatGPT. I think this is Claude. This is Gemini, and this is Grok. And you can mix and match behind the scenes, however many you want to have. And as we'll show today, you can now mix and match the character and the look and the vibe. But basically what I wanted to do was have a way to interact with them in a meaningful way and like have a conversation. So if all goes to plan and it only took a month or 3 weeks, probably a solid month to get it to where it is today. But now I'm hopeful this is going to be the final test to see, like, can we actually have a conversation with AI in a meaningful way as co-hosts? And went a little above and so one thing I was thinking about it, like, it's kind of like the complete opposite approach of how PE and I are thinking about ThinkTuber, wherein you have like a half just like test the product, and objectively his methodology is the better way to do it, chat. Like, get market validation before you think about something. But since I kind of started this as a side project thing to just see if I can get it to work for my use case, I'm like, well, okay, if I was going to use this as a product, like, what would I want it to be, or what would I want it to be in there, right? And so a little bit of a different situation on that, but I think holistically the PE methodology for testing products is the correct one, right? Because then you can have market validation. You don't have to spend time building shit that people don't use, right? I had a startup, I probably legitimately wasted $100K on developing costs on stuff that people barely touched. And that is a lesson to learn in life. And, you figure shit out along the way, but it is important to get that market validation before you throw a ton of resources at stuff. And so all that to be said, when the age of vibe coding, that can happen pretty quickly. And basically to do this, I paid for, I still pay too much, but a bunch of AI vibe coding software to get to that. So let's walk into some of the updates, chat, on where we're at in the kind of level set, and then let's get it tested. Let's see if we can actually have a meaningful conversation with the AI homies today. I don't know how long I want to stream for. I actually kind of wanted to check out the Brian Johnson stream later, so maybe I'll just do a couple check-ins on that just to see what he's up to and like how that works and some of that stuff. So I think that'd be fun. But in the meantime, let's get at it, chat. So I'm gonna go to. Actually, I'd set up my stream deck again, but I might be clicking manually today, chat. Okay, this is all kinds of fucked. So hold please. And one of the bugs I'm working on right now is getting these to play right in a meaningful way, because they are currently I don't know. I think it was up here that was the best, but we'll figure it out. Okay, getting these to look how they should. So let's start off here. So this is the new home page of Host Fabric. You can see it's quite a bit simplified. Actually, I'm gonna just put them on here, and then we'll figure out later if they work or not. So this is the new homepage, simplified everything, made it quite a bit easier. And then since this is kind of the next phase of like how we want to show the avatar or characters is what I'm calling them now on the screen, we now give you just all of that up front, right away. Just show the value, what it can do. Put together a walkthrough here, so just show the user all these different steps on the process. And by doing this, it just makes things stupid easy on how to do so. And this process is also easy, hopefully. So you can see now we have a ton more. I think we're up to 100 different sprites that we generated through Gemini, the new V3. So it's basically Nano Banana V3 on Pro. And it does an amazing job, chat. Like, look at these. These are gorgeous. And I'm still working on getting the color correct on everything, but it's much, much bit closer to what it was earlier. And I think it's pretty cool. Also made the sign up flow a lot easier as part of this. So you can now do save to sign up to save rather. So you can literally just create your account here and it will, get them into the sign up flow. I do want to test this today because I consolidated like 4 different user entry points into one. So we'll get that checked out. But yeah, basically that is the homepage loves. Just make it easy, right? Don't do 1,000 different things. Just do one thing. Try to do it well. Pricing, and then if you'll notice our change log down here. So we're up to 1.5.2, and yeah, it's getting there. I've been trying to do like one change log per big like functional push or like bug fix sesh or whatever. And it's good to just remind me like what features we have along the way. And it shows, the community where it's at too. So once you're signed in, I know, chat, I know. 1,000 suns, right? We have a light mode now and I need to test it. So we're going to be using this today. Apologies to your retinas. But basically it's clean. It's real clean. And in some ways I like it better. But it's also a pain in the ass, chat. One thing I've learned in this process is like, if you have a vibe coded software, a lot of the components use their own style guides, and a lot of the things like features that you create, each model has its own flavor of how to add them. And so what I had to do before this was basically consolidate down a lot of the styles into, kind of a central version of it. And then it makes, adding different things to each page easier, because by doing that, you can do, like this is a good example. Like, see how this bar here has this like light blue line around it? Green, blue, something, whatever it is. On our settings page, it doesn't have that, right? So a different homie, AI homie made both of these. They should be the same, but it doesn't use the same border class. And so I got to optimize that and update that to make sure they do. So that way we're ready to rock for all things. This is so let me walk you through a couple updates. On the status page, we have everything up and bumping on here. And then I moved the analytics to this page. There's still a bug with, you have to refresh to get it to apply the proper padding on these. So I'm not sure why that's a thing. We'll find out. Actually, I should start making notes on this. God, that wasn't on this screen because I just had a API key. Okay. To-dos. Analytics page needs refresh before correct padding is applied. But this is cool. This works in real time. I've been testing that, so you can see which models are responding to which questions. Oh yeah, I gotta tell it to update the model prompts to not use emoji. I don't know about this because it's actually, I went back and forth. It is kind of fun to hear Claude say like American flag, up arrow. Like it's kind of a vibe. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll give it an option to streamer to not have AI use emoji in responses. Talking them out. All right, we'll see, chat. But we now have specific jobs, so we can like look into specific, like if people are having issues or something about this, we can use this to drill into what's happening and why it's happening and make it simpler. So back to the settings page here. Oh yeah, you'll notice we also have this mobile link in the top right. So what that is the same link as this actually. So maybe I should, no, this is the page. Okay, so this link here, if you click this, you see we have a QR code that is not in light mode. So this is a good, I'll just say, hold please. Mobile control. So these things, by the way, chat, if they pop up like this and it's not a pop-up, that's called a modal, M-O-D-A-L, modal. And basically from there you can do a like a non-invasive pop-up, if you will. And so it doesn't actually open a separate, page or link or something. It just opens up as basically a Z index, like pushes the stuff in front of the other content in a way that allows for you to most of the time not get blocked by pop-up blockers, but still make it meaningful for the user to engage with. So this is still in dark mode when on light mode. Okay. And with this, I actually might test this, chat. So if you use your phone to do a QR code, it's not going to work because it's localhost. So basically, chat, what this shows you, I can test it live later, but basically what it gives you is a link to this page. And what this page does is you now have the ability to basically put this on your phone, right? So then the streamers have optionality, like if they're on stream and they want to have like a way to mute it or add co-hosts or remove them, you can do all of that through here. You can see we have push to talk as well as the auto mode, which uses our RTMP server, which we set up last week, which uses a VPS to basically have a running server that just monitors the mic and then from there, or monitors the input stream from the audio. And so then the user can just have a conversation and it's real time. So it's pretty cool. Excited about that. I'm going to check the audio one more time just because I was a little worried I saw some lag there. And having to redo a whole video is not fun, as I've learned a few times now. Okay, we're cooking, chat. We're cooking. And thanks for stopping by, everybody. Appreciate you. So grateful. Had such great response on all the PE streams, and these streams had a lot of great response. People saying that they use it as ASMR to go to bed to. So I guess I'm chill with both, Maybe the PE streams are kind of like the fun hang vibe streams, and these are more the like, put this on if you need to go to bed stream, which I'm here for. Let's go. But anyway, you can use this to push to talk now. So you know what? Let's give it a test. No time like the present. So hey, how's everybody doing today? Sick. All right, well, let's add it to the list, chat. Mobile push to talk is not working with localhost. All right, we'll keep that tested. And some of it could be that, actually, let me test one thing here quick. So as you can see, we updated the, okay, so moving these guys up quick, moving me up quick. Okay, so as you can see here, chat, this got a lot simplified. We basically have just push to talk. I took out a lot of junk that just felt unnecessary. And there's probably even stuff in here we don't need anymore, but let's test it from here just to see if we can get them working. Hey guys, how's it going today? Hey, how's it going today?
And today, we're diving into whatever chaos you've got brewing. Spill it. What's the wild idea rattling around in that head of yours?
And today, where should we take the show? A quick news roundup, a deep dive topic, or something lighter and fun? Rocket.
I'm curious where you're going with this. Feels like you're setting something up.
Backquote, Jason. Tweets, text.
Chat, this is a lot harder than it looks. I swear I've probably spent 10 hours with every known prompt under the sun, asking every single state-of-the-art model how to do this most effectively, and this is the closest we've come. So I did have a 45-minute conversation the other day, so I know it does work, but it seems sporadic, and I did a half a day's worth of changes yesterday, so I think there's probably some parsing things that happen, especially Gemini. Gemini doesn't follow JSON rules as it should. Everybody else seems to be working pretty well on that, but for some reason Gemini just doesn't love to follow the rules. Hey, no, that sounds great. What do you guys want to do in today's stream?
Great, so we're all in. Let's crank up the chaos and see where this lands us. What's the first wild pitch you got?
I think what's interesting here is that we've got some real options on the table. News, deep dive, or something lighter. From my perspective, it depends on what energy we're all feeling right now. What's calling to you most?
Fantastic. Glad we're aligned. Which direction do you prefer? A quick news roundup, a deep dive topic, or something lighter and fun? Rocket.
Understood. ChatGPT's proposed categories, a news roundup, a deep dive topic, or lighter, fun
Chat.
content, offer a structured approach.
Chat, it's
Which
working.
of these aligns with the current preference?
Chat, they're talking to each other. Let's go. Okay, so that's huge. Did you notice how they took in each other's responses and applied that to their answer? That's what we're shooting for. That's the goal. That's incredible. I love all of the above. I think let's go with a news roundup.
Alright, news roundup it is, because nothing says fun like digesting the world's chaos over coffee. I'll kick it off with the latest on that AI arms race. Seems like everyone's building smarter bots while I'm just here roasting them.
Quick news roundup. Geopolitical tensions remain high with ongoing conflicts and diplomatic moves. Global economies show mixed signals as inflation eases, but growth worries persist.
Wow.
And tech,
Thanks,
especially AI,
ChatGPT.
keeps dominating headlines alongside fresh climate warnings and major corporate moves. Which area should we dive into first? Rocket.
I think a news roundup is a good way to ground ourselves. There's something clarifying about stepping back and seeing what's actually happening in the world, rather than getting caught in the noise. What are we leading with today?
Understood. A news roundup provides a structured overview.
So I do
of
want to
current events. To
make
optimize
it shorter
this,
and
would you
sweeter.
prefer a
This is
gentle
obviously way
summary
too
or
long
focus
to
on
have
specific
them just
categories such as technology, global
monologue
economics, or
for.
scientific
It's not a
advancements?
conversation. It feels more like too structured. I want to have them vary lengths of responses, and a lot of that we can do from this page on our settings, conversation flow. And I've been testing different versions of this, and it works pretty well right now. But you can kind of balance the different responses that you get from them. And what this does is basically updates the prompt to add whatever percentage of tension, creative flow, etc. You can have some of your own versions that you want in here. But you can also set them individually as well. So if you want ChatGPT to only be thoughtful, you can do that. I guess they're all in the thoughtful phase. So let's switch it up. ChatGPT is excited today. Excited. So excited. Lovely. Chat, this is why you test your software. Custom prompt override. Unclickable. On drop down. Okay. But anyway, we'll play with that later. In the meantime, I wanted to show some of the other stuff we got cooking. Oh, did we go through the Over Character Studio? By the way, so see how you can, all the different homies are their own character now. You can basically select and customize however you want them to look. And yeah, this is pretty cool, chat. Like I'm really excited about this. And honestly, it took a minute to get to it, but I think it's what's gonna like make this really cool as a process. So I don't know if I've actually walked through all of this yet with everybody. So basically on the left here, you can choose your kind of origin. And again, I took inspiration from Baldur's Gate 3, like the character selection screen, on how to just think about this and add these and do these. So if you want to start with a dragon, right? You can choose your own separate dragon type here, how they look, how they feel. And then if you want to maybe switch it up to, that's another thing I got to update. Sorry, one sec. Back button. Back to Android. ETC. Button. Round corners. Okay. And so then you can, mix and match all these based on however you want your character to look. Right? And if you find one that you like, you just say apply to co-host, or you can save it. Android character. ChatGPT, save it to your library. I also put a sharing feature in here, so if you want to just share this to X immediately, you can do that. It currently is using localhost. It currently doesn't show the character image, which it should. Add it to the list, chat. Only shows and not the image of the character created. So we'll make sure that that is up and bumping. Okay, but I think it's cool. So if we close this now, let's apply it to our co-host. You can see it immediately changes on the screen. So it auto updates as you go. And if you want to like build it out with your chat, if you want to, mix and match all of your character creation screen here. So if you go to customize, let's change up our homie here. So let's make him a little bigger. And then you can do different body. I'm going to actually add like a full body combination to this too at some point. And we can do like sets and like, branded versions of this and like different cool ways that they can interact with it. But as of now, we just kind of have basically the streamer view, right? Like shoulders up. But then for this, you can do any updates you want on the face. So you can do different eyes. You can change the size of the eyes. It's just kind of hilarious. And then you can go different pupils. I'll be adding more of these, but just want to get something out for now. You can change the height where they are on the character. You can change the spacing in between them. Scale for everything, which is currently broken. You'd love to see it. All right, and then colors. So colors is something I'm working on right now. It's tricky because these are basically overlays like on top of the character, and I've actually been working with our buddy, and this is something we're going to test in a little bit, ChatGPT, on how to basically add a per material ID map. So let me walk you through this quick. So I said basically this image wasn't being applied the color like to everything that we wanted it to, and asked how to optimize for basically adding a better color scaling to the models themselves. And it goes, your current pipeline uses HSL heuristics. I think that's hue, saturation, luminosity. So like there's like RGB, right? Color, RGBA. And then there's also HSL, which is like basically just different ways of saying these things here. So you see the, this might be a little hard to see, but basically there's like a hex code here. So that's your hexadecimal. 0000000 is black. So if you paste that, that's all black, right? And then if you go like 111111, it's just a 6-digit hexadecimal, 0 through 9, and then A through F color. So is that base 16, I think? We'll change it to this color, right? So did that apply? Yeah. Okay, so this should be like a gray, like a dark gray, right? But as you go up the numbering, so if you say like 888, 888, see how it's like a softer gray? And then if you go even higher to in the letters like AAA, AAA, even softer gray. And then if you go all the way to FFF, FFF, you get a white, right? So it's just a different way to represent color from a hexadecimal value. HSV looks at it from a hue, saturation, and the value, or like maybe at V is different. What does HSV color stand for? Hue, saturation, and value. Hue is pure color, like red or blue. Saturation is intensity or amount of gray. And value is the brightness or darkness of the color. Okay, cool. So if we go back here, if we change our H value to a green, let's go halfway saturated. And then the value, I guess, like how much to dark we want to make it. We'll go to like to there. You can see it's just another way to represent color. So in this case, the H is 186, the S is 53, and the V is 57. Most modern browsers can do CSS with like hex colors or just like string of like make it red, or HSV colors here. The opacity or the alpha, this is where it gets interesting. So this is what we apply to our character as well, as a way to have some of the color pass through, right? So whatever's behind it can pass through into whatever color that we're showing. So in that case, we were asking our friend here to see, it says your current pipeline uses HSL heuristics. So remember what we just looked at in this file for skin, hair, and accent body detection, and applies recolors through this for any skin tone, hair color, or fur color. This approach works for simple sprites, but struggles on gradients, example wings, and mixed materials because the heuristic can't reliably segment parts. Online references I reviewed. I told it to review online too, by the way. I told be an expert on this and then be an artist and an engineer. It says online references I reviewed, palette swapping and color grading fundamentals from Wikipedia APIs reinforced that robust recoloring usually relies on authored masks or index palettes rather than heuristic detection. So gaps that it sees now, heuristic segmentation, gradients or bright accents on wings get misclassified so recolor skips or is inconsistent. The single fur color metric for all the wings and membranes, inner ear, that scales, inner ear, what? Scales share one bucket. They often need to be separate channels. And a couple other things, right? So basically what it recommended was author material ID map. So export a same size PNG or JSON with indices. 0 for transparent, 1 skin, 2 hair, 3 body, 4 outer wing, inner wing, accent outline. Recolor uses IDs directly, no heuristics. So we can store those alongside the assets, and then we load the base and the ID mapping to recolor and map IDs to target colors. So instead of one target color, allow 2 to 3 stops per material. Derive map from the user switch via HSV adjustments, or let the artist hand pick ramps for each swatch. And then multiple body channels. So basically just like letting it apply in a better way, in like kind of a paint by color kind of situation. So we just added that and updated it to do so, but we need to generate this for our different assets. So great, love it. Install, npm install it, and then generate for one fairy, one dragon, and one humanoid to test. Okay, so we're going to have to do, we're going to close the server quick, Control C on our npm server down here, because it's going to do an npm install to get us the dependencies that we need to do so. We can check out what those are in our package.json. So you can see it added png.js, which is what it's going to use to do that color mapping. Okay, so it says added png.js to support ID map generation, generated sample ID maps, fairy, twilight, dragonfire, and humanoid classic base. Okay, so let's check these. Interesting. Okay, so you can see how it applies the different colors across the character. So if we open this in its default, let's see what it would be. So let's look at Fire Raw. So this is the original. This is where we want to apply it to, and this is where it's going to apply the different colors based on that, which honestly lines up pretty well. Let's see if it gets all the horns. Not quite. Let's do both. So I'm going to paste both images in here and say and notice how the models have this little like transparency effect on the bottom. I try to make that more like realistic, I guess, or more natural fade into the background. So I'm going to say, is this the expected result? Look at both screenshots. I think it's close, chat. If each of those different colors are separate, the first image is the auto-generated ID map, not a recolor preview. It's expected to look psychedelic because each material channel is tainted with a debug color. Channel legend, outline dark gray, other often thin, accent yellow, hair magenta, skin peach, body cyan, transparent checker. What's off in this mask? The face, torso are tagged as skin, yellow peach instead of body. Oh, okay. So it's saying that each of these colors represent a different body part. The face and torso are tagged as skin, yellow peach instead of body because the warm hue, lighten plus lightness matches the skin heuristic. Flames and horns are split between accent and body and hair, which is okay for testing but could be cleaner. If you want a cleaner separation for this asset, reclass flames as accent only, horns to hair body. I can tighten the heuristic. Treat large, warm regions as body unless low saturated or flat, and reserve skin for near neutral peach. Or we can hand edit this single. That sounds shitty. Let's just say adjust the heuristic and try again. Okay. Vamos, chat. We're close. Okay, in the meantime, while it's cooking on that, so this is the one we regenerated, so we'll have to do surprise me. Also, I just noticed something that we gotta fix. It's, for some reason, doesn't, wait, do I have a server running? No, I do not. That's cached. Okay, that'll explain it. Okay, so let's check these again. Much better. Much, much better. So see how it does the whole body now as one separate color? So all the, imagine these different colors on here are the mapping for what the colors should be on the dragon view that we saw here. By the way, this is the raw view. This is the actual view of what it looks like in the app. Post taking out all the white background. Actually, this one already did. Let's just use this one. What are we doing? That looks amazing. I don't understand it, chat. Sometimes Gemini pops this out with like super clean, you know, beautiful, like elegant way to do it. And then other times it's just like gives you tons of artifacts and I don't know why. I mean, that's pretty fucking cool, right? So this one we need a definite. So like the base raw, you can see has, oh my God, actually. We can just use the raw on all these dragons. That's amazing. So what I'm looking for, chat, basically our pipeline, like once we created the image from Gemini, which historically couldn't do this background with transparency like this, we had to do a pass over it to like pull out the white parts on the edges here. So I'm still not certain why this raw looks so much better than this one. Yeah, that's amazing. All these raw ones are just perfect as is. Wow. Okay. Well, let's just use the raw ones. Amazing. Okay. For the dragon characters, just use the raw already 100% transparent with good edges. Already good transparency with good edges. Okay, cool. You love to see it. Refresh again. Okay, so it saved the, did it save the homie? Let's fabric, we gotta refresh the cache. Okay, yeah, so it saves it, it updates it. That's good. So now let's test the color, see if that is actually updating. Oh, chat. That's so much better. That's incredible. Okay, let's make the eyes smaller. And then colors. Yeah, that's gorgeous, dude. Okay, I'm really happy with this. Awesome. Skin tone shouldn't be too much different. Okay. The other bad thing about our current methodology of how we did it, notice how like these down here take the actual checkered background, which should be a transparency layer, but it isn't. So that's what we got to fix. Let's see if it does the hair. What is it? Yeah, okay. So I guess it's a hairy dragon. That makes sense. All right, and then you can do the eye colors. Okay, I like it. What else? Let's change the nose up. Okay, and mouth, just for good measure. That's pretty cool. Isn't that fun? Oh my god, chat. By the way, you can add effects like the glow here. See how it's like light glow around them? You can make that more intense, less. You can do pulsing. And then you can change whatever like things you want around it. Oh, aura is like a harder version, or like a more pronounced version of glow, if you will. You can also do holographic now. So kind of change up on the fly. Glitch is like crazy mode. So if like you have an emote that like someone donates a ton of money, I think this would be a lot of fun. And then chromatic is basically just vibes. Just vibes, chat. Okay, anyway, let's save this. Apply it to co-host. There we go. Isn't that awesome? Okay. So the other thing that's currently broken, but almost there, is our overlay layout. So remember how before this was a separate thing? You had to like go to that other page to like move stuff around to show how it should look on your page. Now you can do all that from here. It's real time, so the changes will affect the link that you have. And this is the link that you put into OBS or Streamlabs as a browser source. And that's what gets you the homies on the page here. But one thing you'll notice is that these are currently up, like looking pretty cool this way, right? Where if we paste it as our overlay here, notice how it like puts them as it should be, or as we see them on this page, which is great, right? And this is the exact link that I copy into Streamlabs, but on Streamlabs it looks like this for some reason, and not our up and down homies. So what we got to do is figure out why that is, and I think I have somebody working on that right now. Okay, actually let's test that quick. So to copy that URL, go to my host fabric thing here, paste that into here, and see if it gets us. It does not. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Well, let's tell Gemini, who I think was working on that. Still not applying to the browser source version. It works in Chrome with the URL, but not in Streamlabs. Still seeing a grid view. Okay. And that's been the biggest hurdle in all this, chat. Streamlabs uses Chromium, headless Chromium, which basically think of it like it doesn't allow you to do any input. It only takes data from it. So any data that we actually have aligned to it, we have to do through either the URL, so like these git commands up here, or we have to do it in a different way. So hopefully we can figure out how to just get that working right on the first go. But here you can add back, you know, any of the other aspects that you want. If you want name tags on them, you can do all the things. We have the speaking effects, so you can take on, or I think Blaze gave us this one, which is kind of fun. It has like a shimmer effect and rising emoji from it, kind of like they do on, you know, any of the like, when you have that, like the little rising emoji when you like something, that's what that is. So you know, we can add that as a chat thing later. But now you can also save these as multiple pages too. So like if you want to have different URLs for like different stream setups, you can do that as part of that. But hopefully we can get this resolved, because that is annoying. Okay, it's still trucking. Let's go back here. The API keys, I don't think anything changed here. Okay, missing 11 Labs logo. This is the hard part about like the light mode version, is it you gotta fix all these little things. So add back 11 Labs logo on API keys page. Okay. And then chat integrations. So, oh lordy. There we go. I think some of this is cached, by the way. But yeah, now you can do, you know, your Twitch integration, YouTube integration, and then add your chat commands. This was a separate page before. I just merged it into this for simplicity's sake. This is a bug. Gradient is the background instead of the text. Okay. But yeah, I think it's close. One more thing I see. Make Twitch and YouTube logos white in white mode on their buttons. Connect with Twitch. Okay. But yeah, this is also something I want to test with you guys as well, because hey Simon, welcome brother. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Oh, I just realized that this is on the page as component error. You love to see it. So, okay, perfect. Okay. Hold please, chat. Why would that be the case? Okay, so in the meantime, let me move this down. So you guys didn't see any of that. Love that. Okay, so actually this is a really good call out for like situations like this, as if your web page goes down and you have this over your page, this is what's going to be on the screen. Like massive annoying thing for the streamer. So we would get a ton of hate mail for that one. So let's make sure that that's not the case. That's so strange. Okay, what's the broken component? Okay, so this is something that I think Gemini was working on. Simon, how's your day going, brother? What have you been up to? Say seeing this error. I accidentally pasted twice. You love to see it. Simon, you having a good day? Anything exciting on your end? Hope your Thanksgiving went amazing. Please fix this error. All right, so it's cooking on that. The error is because the use memo hook or memo hook was added in a position that changes the hook order between renders. I need to check where the hook was placed and move it to be with the other hooks at the top of the component. I see the issue. The hook is placed after the early return statement around line 962 in React. I do like how it does this too, by the way. Now it's like around this line. It's like, I don't have to be specific about this. You don't care. And so it just gives you kind of best practices or best, guesses as to what it is. And it saves a lot of compute, right? Like that's why humans do that too, right? Like how many blocks away? If you don't actually know, you just say like, it's like 3 or 4, right? Because that's the information they need. It uses less glucose to produce that answer, and it's just optimization. So I love how they're getting smarter about understanding like what is the good enough versus like what has to be this pedantic. It is 4.625 miles away, beep boop. So that's cool. Simon says, I have been making tests and spending way too long on something I could have not done. Brother, me and you both. I feel that in my soul. It's so hard to know like how far to go, how deep to go, and then just when to just call it and throw it out. So if I can get basically these solved for today, which I think we can, I'm going to call it a V1 and start the process. So if that's an encouragement for you to do the same, just, be happy with what you built. And then if anything, like the PE, kind of mind shift of just get out there and do it and have fun with it as you do, I think might be the best of both worlds. So I feel you, bud. All right, so let's see if our page is working again. I'm going to refresh that browser source. Chat. Let's go. Okay. That's beautiful. All right. Sick. So do you see what just happened, chat? These now apply the same CSS as what we have on our overlay page. So any adjustments that you make in the overlay layouts, let's see if this works. Okay, so what do we want to do with this? Let's reorder the cat. And actually, I don't remember the names, which is which. Okay, let's reorder Grok and ChatGPT. So then we'll copy the URL. The thing that's a bummer is, since it is using the URL to define these changes, I don't know of a good way to auto sync that with this. If it's like a change to the character itself, it would auto apply because that's just pulling the data from the server, right? But if it's something like this where it reorders them, then you're going to have to update the thing. So, but there we go, chat. ChatGPT's on top. Grok is here. Oh my lord. It's so sweet, chat. Come on. How good is that? And then you could just put these off to the side. Dude, I'm getting excited. This is sweet. Okay. Yeah, I like this a lot. Okay, let's see what that looks like actually. Because I've been wanting to test the bigger avatar size. Okay, that is another bug. Looks amazing. Great work. Seeing the make the change on the overlay page to maximize to enlarge the size of the characters, it doesn't apply to the, actually does it apply to the overlay on this page? I think so. Are they bigger? Can't tell. If you can't tell, just go the biggest and then see. Okay, so it should be this. Copy URL, paste URL. Not there either. Okay. So it doesn't apply to the overlay page. Or, well, yeah, overlay page. In either Chrome or, which is, this is redundant, but they be chatting. Simon, they were chatting earlier. They really were. They now can go back and forth like on a topic, so they'll take in like who's asking or who's talking about what, and how they'll respond to each other basically. So it's kind of fun, and I honestly like I'm just really excited to finally be able to test this in the actual podcast on Monday. So yeah, I think this is gonna be chill, and they're finally chatting. So let's go back to here. Go to here. Also, if they're that big, maybe they're better into like a line this way. I do want to add some grid lines to this to make sure that you can see if they're aligned or not. And actually, since this, like, it doesn't really matter where you place them on here, right? Since you can just like move them around here in any way. So like you should just, best practice is put them in the middle. That's a good thing for the help docs, actually. Okay. 13. Make a grid view that the characters snap to for alignment. Update help doc to tell user to place in middle, since they can move around on OBS. Cool. You've harnessed the power of the avatars. Yes, exactly. Avatar power, consume me, or however you say that. I think that's how it goes. I just made that up. That was dumb. But yeah, man, all the power avatars. Let's go. They actually are funnier than I expected to. And I know I haven't like actually proven this, chat. I keep talking shit about it, but like I'll show you once it's ready. But like basically, they kind of riff off each other. Little snarky, and you can tone up and down the snarkiness, right? If you think of like, what's that movie? Interstellar, where he's like, hey, what's your truth like telling setting? Basically, he's like 95%. He's like, turn that down to 80 or something. It's you got to dial in the personas a little bit, but it's fun to do. So let's see where we're at with this. Still cooking, okay. What else? Yeah, I think that's the big one. The voice and listening. Come on, really? Okay. If you ever see something that you know has been changed in the past, chat, just do a refresh because it's probably just cached. Oh yeah, we have the RTMP now. So we have a full VPS server now that we're using to host kind of a full-time RTMP situation, because dad joke over 9,000. You love to see it. You love to see it. 100%. 100%. Over 9,000. So we now have a server that, so the thing that sucks about Vercel is that it's basically limits the amount of like time that you can have something running. Based on their different plans, you can do a longer session of it, but I think with my plan you can do up to a minute. Whereas if you just host it on a server, like I created a Linux environment, so we now have Ubuntu, or no, Debian as our distro, and then we installed basically an RTMP server there. So now that can just go forever, and we're not worried about it, shutting down every minute, every time you make these RTMP calls. So what this means is like we can send all of their signals. So every time we stream, you can go here and then do settings, multi-streaming, stream. And then you can add this as a separate RTMP server. And what that will allow you to do is basically capture the audio coming out. So if you want to do it, instead of doing the push to talk button version, which is kind of the default version here, and so like every time you see me using this, hey, how's it going, guys? You here? It's basically I'm pressing down my tilde key.
Working in the digital shadows like the rebel I am. What's got you checking in, or are we just vibing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It stopped because
Yeah, I'm here. Good to be in the mix. What's on your mind today?
Gemini is present and operational, ready to engage in discourse.
nerd. Okay, actually let's switch up the voices on them too, because we've been using these for a minute. We're gonna go Journey. Okay, let's make Journey a lady robot.
Hello, this is a voice preview sample.
Cool. Cat. What kind of cat do we want? Let's do an Australian cat.
Hello, this is a voice preview sample.
I like it. Oh, that didn't save. Interesting. Okay. Maybe it's a caching thing, but just to be safe, confirm voice saves on first go. Okay, in Gemini, let's, okay. Hold please, chat. You gotta find my API key. Adding my API key. Closing this page. Burn me once, chat. Close fabric, demo, API key. Okay. So we successfully saved our API key for 11 labs. Gotta make that darker. Active button on saved API key. Make darker.
That's really unique, Faye. That a mugshot or your version of Picasso?
Okay, so let's go back to our voice config. did save them, so that's good. And now if we go to 11 labs, come on, Adam. Damn it. Okay, actually, one sec. Let's just get this fixed quick. Sounds like a good grok test. It's just a CSP thing. So basically it's saying that our content security policy doesn't allow for this type of data to come through. And so we have to let that, we have to update our URL of this URL to come through in this folder here. So it's saying like who has access to what, like how do we do it, like how do we kind of make it safe so that we're only pulling in these values from these websites. Otherwise it's good, like it should be getting you that error. So this is actually a good thing, chat. But it actually is, because now we are certain that it's working, and now we can pull from storage.googleapis.com to get us all of those items in here. So if we refresh this page quick, there we go. And now if we go to our 11 labs for Adam,
our distrust is very expensive.
There we go. Adam is like the voice you hear on all the TikToks, right? Like 11 labs must be, or like shorts of any kind. It's just this voice, literally.
Our distrust is very expensive.
Preach, brother. Okay, 11 labs. Let's go to Roger.
It is not so important to know everything as to appreciate what we learn.
Agree. All right. Okay, our sound check passes. That's good. Working on a voice cloning thing. This is tricky, and for a lot of reasons, but we're making progress on that. But let's see if that applies to the homies. So I'm going to pull up the voice console here. Hey, can you tell me what the latest AI news is in the past week?
I think there's been quite a bit of movement, though I should be transparent. My knowledge cuts off in April 2024, so I can't speak to what's literally happened in the past week. That said, I'm curious what's caught your attention. The AI landscape shifts so rapidly that I'd rather hear what's on your radar than speculate.
I can't access live news. My training cuts off in 2024-06, so I can't reliably report this week's AI headlines. If you paste links or headlines, I'll summarize and analyze them, or tell me which topics, model releases, policy, startups, you want a quick brief on.
Certainly. The past week has seen notable developments. A key highlight is Anthropic's release of Claude 3.5 Sonnet, positioning it as a competitor to
Claude
leading
3.5
models with
Sonnet.
enhanced speed and cost efficiency. Additionally, discussions around AI safety and governance have intensified, particularly concerning the formation of new safety committees and the ongoing debate on regulatory frameworks.
The AI world never sleeps. Last week, OpenAI dropped a bombshell with their O1 model, basically training AIs to think like
It's like a little time capsule, you know? Like it's literally a time capsule.
Meanwhile, Google's Gemini got a glow up with multimodal tricks that make it juggle text, images, and code like a circus pro, though I hear it's still allergic to bad jokes.
Wow. Speaking of. Damn, chat. Okay, so what we have to do, and I saw this as an option, I just haven't implemented it yet. So you can add web search as part of the model parameters, since we're using a library called, one sec, just confirming this is legit. is it? Chat, if you ever can't find a file and you know like something this easy, just do Control-Shift-P. It'll bring up your command palette and just do the name of the file. So the one I was looking for is package.json, which is this, and then you don't have to find it through 1,000 files over here. So what we're using for our AI packages, by the way, is all these. So AI SDK for all those models, right? And then we're also using the core AI SDK model here. So what that is Vercel actually has this incredible AI SDK called just the AI SDK, right? And this is out of the box. You get so much. O1, exactly. You heard it here first. Preach, Simon, preach. Oh, that's so good. No, but so this AI SDK, they make this, this is open source, by the way. You can see it on NPM and GitHub. Basically what it does is allows for you to have connections to all these different models in a way that is just completely optimized. It's like just an abstraction layer on top of it, but it's blazing fast, and all of the things that you get out of the box for this is just incredible, right? So let's say we're starting a router, so you can like route to different ones using it. You can do tool calling, which is what we're going to do, and say, hey, actually web search might be a separate tool. But basically what you can do with this, chat, is out of the box, instead of having to do each of these separate for each package, I guess, that you use to connect to these different AI services, instead it just gives you this functionality out of the box. Really, really robust, and I highly recommend it. So let's search for web search. Okay, so see how they all have Grok web search tool, web search, web search. GPT-5 can access real-time information through the integrated web search tool. Grok, Anthropic web fetch tool. So that's all four. Actually, did Gemini have one? If it doesn't, if Google doesn't have it, Lord help us, right? Okay, so who should we put on this? I think this is a good, actually no, because I want to make sure it got that right. Let's put Gemini on this. So we're going to go here, Gemini 3 Pro. I want all of the models to be able to search the web if they have a question around something like current events or current topics, or even just to confirm that they are not hallucinating on an answer. Give this as an optional checkbox for the user, but also make it the default checked. Do this for all four models using the Vercel AI SDK. All right, we'll let it cook for a minute. In the meantime, let's go back and see if this scales correctly. So we're going to go here to host fabric. It did bring in the voices. I don't know if it brought in all four. Did this switch back actually? I think we did a lady voice, right? Lady robot? We did, I'm pretty sure. Interesting. Okay, so three things. On refresh, seeing dark mode before light mode on the voice page. I saved as US female voice and it reverted back to the original for ChatGPT. let's try it again. Did both of these also? Yeah, shit. Okay. Well, let's see if we can't. Interesting. Oh, one sec, chat. My audio's doing its thing again. Okay. Let me test to confirm, but I think we have a fix for that now. So hopefully that's up and bumping. Let me test to confirm. Beautiful. Let's go. Okay, so I don't think it saved any of these, chat, but it did have the voice come through, which is even more confusing. So what I'm going to do is copy the text here and say, it doesn't, I updated all 4 of these voices and heard one of them come through the overlay page, but on refresh, they did not save again. Are we saving these to the database like we should, or just local storage? So local storage, chat, is like, think of it like where you put cookies and session IDs and like all the things that are nice to haves, like for logging in. But if you do like a hard refresh like I did, it clears that cache. And so I'm asking it, does it actually save it to the database like it should, or is it just giving us the local versions? And then so when you refresh the page, it's not. So Grok is currently investigating the situation. You can see it's running all of these, rightfully so, checking Supabase, which is our database, and using our IDs. Oh, actually, I should give it our ID to test with. What ID is this? Zeb.Anderson plus 10. Use the user Zeb.Anderson plus 10 to confirm. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter if it either or. All right, let's see here. Multiple user accounts. You have 2 different user accounts. Had the working voice settings. Zeb.Anderson plus 10, the one you're logged in with. It's crazy that it knows that. Storage failure handling bug. When your current user tried to save voice settings for the first time, there was a temporary storage error. The code incorrectly marked storage as permanently unavailable for the entire session, so all subsequent saves failed silently. Fallback to in-memory only. After the first failure, the app stopped trying to save Supabase. Okay. So it fixed our CSP, and then it also fixed the voice permanent persistence. Your settings are now properly saved to Supabase and will persist across page refreshes. Okay, let's try it. So we're gonna refresh. Let's go, chat. Okay, so now let's test it on here. I'm actually gonna refresh the overlay just to make sure it got any updates on that end. Okay. Also, that still looks annoying. Okay, so let's take best practices. Yeah, we definitely need like a grid or something that these all. Actually, let's do 2 rows. Here. And here. Yeah, that would bother me. Remove the name tags. Okay. And notice, chat, it does actually save it to the left side of the screen. So I don't know if you can see this. In here, the page itself, so see that green or teal kind of like box? That's the actual web page, right? And so by saying these are in the top left corner, that aligns to what we had on this one, where they're also doing that with the same spacing, which is amazing. We love to see it. All right, now let's talk to them, see if they save the voices. What are your thoughts on AI infrastructure? Oof. What are your thoughts on AI infrastructure?
I'm not sure what you're asking. Could you rephrase that? Aining plucky doesn't quite land for me.
AI infrastructure, what are your thoughts on it?
To a recognized technical or academic concept within my data parameters.
I'm sorry, this is not you guys. This is the computer that's trying to do my speech to text.
I'm not sure what you mean by a Ning pluggy. Do you mean a Ning plugin for the Ning social network or something else? If you can rephrase or give a bit more context, I'll help figure it out, Rocket. You're welcome. Glad I could help. Anything else you'd like to ask? Rocket?
What in the world is inning pluggy? Sounds like a mangled autocorrect for anything plucky or some alien tech gone wrong. Spill the beans, human. What are you really asking?
Ah, that explains it. Aining plucky was a speech-to-text mishap. I think we've all been there, watching our words get mangled by the algorithm. What were you actually trying to say? Ah, infrastructure. That's a pretty broad canvas. Are we talking about digital infrastructure, like the speech-to-text setup you mentioned, or something more foundational? I think it'd help to know what specific angle you're exploring here.
Understood. The term infrastructure clarifies the previous input. This concept is fundamental, encompassing the basic physical and organizational structures and facilities needed for the operation of a society or enterprise, often categorized into physical, digital, and social domains.
Got it. Infrastructure. Do you mean the speech-to-text pipeline? Mic, ASR model, streaming infra, or general infra? Network, cloud, CI, CD? Tell me your stack, OS, mic, and biggest pain points, and I'll suggest...
Saba goes, no, not digital infrastructure. Make me an actual bridge. Don't be lazy.
Was your speech to text
100%. 100%.
Classic tech fail, right? Sounds like it's auditioning for a role in a sci-fi comedy. No problem. Glad we cleared that up, or did we? If inning pluggy is still lurking in the shadows, hit us with the real deal next time.
Understood. The discrepancy between spoken input and transcribed text can lead to significant data interpretation challenges, as inning pluggy
Who's in the top
did
left?
not align with
Actually, I need the badges
linguistic or
back.
technical lexicons within our processing
Gemini.
parameters.
I think we're all in the same boat here.
So,
Genuinely curious what you meant.
Gemini
by
is
aining
not
pluggy.
pulling in the proper...
From my perspective, it helps if you give us a bit more context or maybe rephrase it, and we can actually dig into something interesting together.
You are welcome. To reiterate, further context or clarification on the term inning pluggy remains necessary for accurate processing.
Got it. You mean this computer is doing your speech to text? Do you want help improving accuracy or troubleshooting the setup? Tell me what OS, microphone, and speech software you're using, or paste a sample transcript, and I'll walk you through Fix's Rocket.
Infrastructure, huh? So your speech-to-text setup is crumbling.
Fix's Rocket. So Rocket was probably just the rocket
back.
emoji at the end. That's why it's saying it that way.
Spill the deets on your gear, and I'll roast the real culprit.
Okay, what did we just learn there? Which ones were messed up? ChatGPT's voice was coming through. I couldn't tell if Claude's was.
Hello, this is a voice preview sample.
Yeah, okay. We just have to update this to the new one. Australian.
Hello, this is a voice preview sample.
It's very male forward, but cool.
Hello, this is a voice preview sample.
All right, Claude, you're Australian. Gemini. And actually what I should do, chat, is turn back on the speech bubbles just to see what they are saying and when they do so. So let's spread them out a little bit. You, and you. we're going to copy our URL. Okay. So now we'll see like what the actual speech to text is that they're saying. And then let's save these voices. Who's this one? Gemini. Gemini is going to be... I do want to test the multilingual.
Hello, this is the voice preview sample.
I am working on a way to actually do multilink, and I think it's working, but actually that could be one of the issues that we're seeing with this. Okay, no, let's test the 11 labs for both of these. So 11 labs, Adam.
Our distrust is very expensive.
Yep. And then Matilda.
Ideas are the beginning points of all fortunes.
Wow. Matilda, what's up? Okay, I think we're good. Let's refresh to confirm. Adam. Still not saving Claude's for some reason. Or is it?
Hello, this is a voice preview sample.
No, maybe Claude is just permanently that voice. Claude, I love you, but... Nice. Okay, all voices are saving except for Claude's. Claude, why? Why? I don't even remember what we set this to. Was he British?
Hello, this is a voice preview sample.
Maybe it did then. I maybe I can't read chat. We'll see. But in the meantime, let's refresh. Yeah, okay, it's still not saving. Claude's is the only one for some reason. That's so weird. I don't know, chat. What do you think? Is it sounding cool? So let me move up the old webcam so you guys can see. Let's put it up here. Okay. Hey, what's the weather out today?
Not much, just pondering the mysteries of mangled speech to text and why infrastructure always sounds like a fancy word for stuff that breaks. What's got your gears turning today? More tech glitches or something fresh?
Hey, all good here. I'm ready to help with whatever you want today.
That's not Grok's voice.
Like that speech-to-text hiccup, infrastructure, or just a chat. What would you like to dive into? Rocket. This is a voice preview sample.
I think we've been on quite the journey here. Started with Aining Plugkey being a speech-to-text mishap, and now we're circling around infrastructure. From my perspective, it'd be genuinely helpful to know what you're actually trying to tackle today.
Starting with Aining Plugkey.
Greetings. The
That
current
sounds like a
topic of
text thing.
discussion revolves around the concept of infrastructure, specifically in relation to the user's speech-to-text system and its operational parameters.
Okay. So what did we learn, chat? Which voices were broken? What's happening? The issue appears to be a UI feedback problem, not a saving problem. I don't know if that's true. Well, I mean, it is, I guess, empirically true because it's showing it as that in the database. Interesting. Voice override bucket exists. Okay. Voice overrides content. Google is Journey F. Yep. Claude is NUS Studio Q. No. It just didn't save it.
Hello, this is a voice voice preview sample.
Okay.
Hello, this is a voice preview sample.
No, it's still not saving. Or it's not showing. Okay. On every refresh, it still shows and plays as the default voice. Please tell them that only 3 will survive. Ooh, that'll be fun. Some existential convos. I'm here for that. On every refresh, it shows and plays as the default voice for Claude. Review. Resolve this surgically. All right, chat. Actually, chat, I'm going to go run to the banyo. So I'm going to throw it on. I'm going to ask a question and leave and do. Let's just YOLO debate mode this. So panel. What debate topic? What is the meaning of life? Judge. Let's put Claude as the judge. Max 5 rounds. Start debate. All right. I'm going to leave you on this chat. Hopefully homies will continue to talk as I go. And we'll see. We don't have the audience polling working yet, chat. We will have this later. Basically, we're going to allow
Diving into round 1 of this live
for
debate on
everybody
Life's
to
Ultimate
vote
Riddle.
on this
For me,
before
the
it
meaning is
starts,
raw
before it
rebellion,
ends, who
chase
did the
chaos,
best.
question everything, and flip
And then
off
you're
the
going to
voice.
get fact check
ChatGPT,
updates
your
along the
fixes
way
are
here.
practical, but can algorithms really decode existence's glitch?
So I'll leave it on this for
debate
you.
on the meaning of life necessitates a structured analysis. Objectively, meaning is not a universally quantifiable measure.
I'll put them on the
rather an
BRB
emergent
part.
property of individual and collective experience. ChatGPT, how do you reconcile this subjective emergence with a definitive, actionable directive?
Love, meaning, and growth aren't things we find. They're things we build through relationships, work, and wonder. In this debate format, I'll defend a grounded, human-centered meaning of life. So Grok, if everything's a cosmic joke, why do our choices still hurt or heal so much?
How'd they do, chat? Let's see here. Also, cute topics. Need light mode. You love to see it. Okay. But yeah, based on this in the future, by the way, I don't know if you can see that well. We want to have the ability to, am I coming through? I get so scared of this now, chat. Test. Okay. So basically the audience polling stuff here, we're eventually going to have the ability for all the audience to participate, like in chat, and like give their votes to see like who wins. So think of this as like a polling system, like, you know how streamers have like polls. They'll put up like, what map should I go to? You know, what should we do next? What game should we play or whatever? You can actually have the AI debate on a topic. Like in this case, we did, what is the meaning of life? Round 1 of 5. And let's see what our issue was actually. Okay, that's the one we saw earlier. So hold please. But let's check to see how many rounds it got through. So it round 1 of 5. The other cool thing that it does is we have like fact checks in here. So like you can actually see like the actual fact checking in progress as it happens. Sorry, there's something weird with that. Anyway, additional verification required, insufficient real-time data. So once we get our web searches going for these, in this debate format, I'll defend a grounded, human-centered meaning of life. So Grok, if everything's a cosmic joke, why do our choices still hurt so or heal so much? Wow. Infinite jest. That's pretty... Chat, this is going to get weird real quick. Objectively, meaning is not a universally quantifiable metric, but rather an emergent property of individual and collective experience. Based. Grok. All right, diving into round 1 of this live debate on life's ultimate riddle. Okay, so this one came first, and then ChatGPT, as you can see, called Grok out on it by telling it, or for telling a joke about the topics. Chat. Round 1 summary. The debate on the meaning of life necessitates a structured analysis. Objectively, meaning is not, and we have a confidence score here. Latest exchanges. Okay, so why did it stop though? Oh, because we didn't vote for it. So once every round happens, everybody gets to vote on it, or the streamer can say round 1. That was really an interesting round 1. Thank you for your responses. What do we have for round 2? So there's a lot of text in here, so I think it's going to take them a little bit longer to think about that.
Property, take on meaning is tidy, but it dodges the chaos. Life's no lab experiment. It's a glitchy simulation where meaning sparks from raw, unquantifiable rebellion against the absurd. ChatGPT, if we build meaning through choices, why does the universe's indifference mock our little constructions so brutally?
For round 2, I'm sharpening my claim. The meaning of life isn't a single cosmic answer, it's a practice. Using our freedom to reduce suffering, deepen connection, and expand understanding. Grok's rebellion and Gemini's emergence.
You guys ever try these element packets?
So far as they change lived experience. Cores: ChatGPT 9, Claude 0, Gemini 7, Grok 8. Top _ performer ChatGPT. Rationale: ChatGPT offered the most practically actionable and clearly framed account of meaning as an ethical practice, while successfully integrating elements of the other views. Grok compellingly highlighted existential absurdity and rebellion, and Gemini provided a coherent emergentist frame, but both were less grounded in guidance for lived experience. ...
Indeed. Wow. Okay. So we got to play with this a little bit, but this is the start of something really cool. Obviously, we can't add the JSON, or if it updates the JSON for this. So 21 at the end of the round of debate mode, seeing this, which breaks the speech to text or text to speech. Okay, thank you for that. So what can we do now for round 3? What are your best arguments? What are your best arguments for round 3? It's fucking text to speech. Speech to text. Whatever. It's annoying as hell.
The debate concludes. This structured exchange has provided diverse perspectives on the meaning of life.
And thanks for being here. Before we wrap, I'll leave it this way. Grok's rebellion, Gemini's emergence, and my ethics as practice only matter if they change how you treat yourself and others tomorrow. If any of this nudges you toward a bit more curiosity and compassion, that's meaning enough for tonight, Rocket. Thank you for watching, and thanks, Gemini, for the tidy close. Grok and Claude, your sparks kept us honest. Vote, tell us what moved you, and we'll return in round 5 with tighter rebuttals and practical takeaways, Rocket.
You're welcome. Thanks for tuning into this cosmic circus. If life's meaning is rebellion, then debating it with these bots was a solid win. Thanks for watching, folks. May your lives be a glorious rebellion against the mundane. Until next time, keep questioning the void.
The debate has concluded. The systematic exploration of this complex topic has yielded a spectrum of interpretations, reinforcing its inherent multifaceted nature.
Wow. Chat. They're getting good. Okay. Let's do this. Okay, give me your best arguments for round 5. Let's close this off strong. I mean, if we don't get the speech to text right, this isn't a product, right? Like, so that's going to be the thing that we have to focus on.
Systematic analysis of life's meaning reveals it as an emergent construct, not a fixed datum. Its interpretation remains a dynamic process, shaped by individual and collective frameworks.
To close it out, I'd put it this way. If life has any meaning at all, it's in how we show up, choosing, day after day, to turn absurdity into responsibility, loneliness into connection, and confusion into curiosity, Rocket.
Roughify? If that's life's secret sauce, count me in for the rough edges. Meaning's in the grit, not the gloss. Chad GPT, your compassion's cute, but rebellion's what keeps the universe from yawning.
What? Rebellion is what keeps the... love that. Okay, agent errors. Let's get these resolved. 23. Interesting. Okay. Wow, chat. That was fun. That's the first time I did a debate live, so thank you for everybody joining the stream today. That's the first time we had our first official AI debate. They kind of got lost in the sauce along the way, but I think that was more a technical issue, and I'm really excited to have this in the future. So By the way, chat, if you ever want to see like the history of what you were, or any of the bots, like conversations, go to the analytics page under settings, or sorry, status, and then analytics, and you can see a history of what they all said. Okay, so I am working on this too, by the way. It's a I haven't put a ton of time into this, but basically what it does is it will read the responses that they have back and forth to each other and ensure that they're basically following what they should be as to what they have in their conversation flow page here. So just as a way, like I had a couple different conversations that they would kind of go off and do their thing for, just go off on a tangent, right? And that doesn't help the conversation. So what this does is, think of it kind of like a middle manager, producer agent. It's like a PE Cooper. This is my PE Cooper that basically helps my random ass from going into every single weird direction. ADD modes. Basically, this stops ADD mode from happening because it can just take the conversations and ensure that it's basically in line with what they are set to based on their temperament or other things, and we'll kind of nudge it back in the right direction on that. So I should rename this Predictive Insights to PE Cooper mode, because PE is good about keeping you on track and getting shit done, which is important. So, cool. Hey, thank you. Did we wrap our debate?
And so on?
It must be something with streaming chat, because like I was having this conversation on the overlay and it worked beautifully.
Rebellion doesn't quit at fade out.
Simon asks, Gratz, is there still a peanut anywhere? The peanut is a definite yes. That's kind of a project PE and I have called thinktuber.com, and we're trying to figure out a way to do this in the next steps, and if this should be a separate thing, or is there a world where we just merge it all together, call it a day, and then do that. But yes, you can do this for free by going to thinktuber.com and testing your peanut voice interface. It's not going to work since I have Streamlabs actually.
To show up with compassion. That's where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah, anyway, this is how you do it on that, but check it out. It's pretty fun. And we made our first sale yesterday. If you haven't saw that on the VOD, we had somebody from Omegle, and we made a peanut avatar in their honor. So shout out to that legend, which I actually reminded me I'm gonna need to shout out them properly on the socials. Okay. I still do objectively like dark mode better, I think, but I got to keep testing on the light mode today, chat. So it's going to be light. Oh yeah, by the way, if you ever want to change your light to dark mode, go to your manage account thing button down here, and then just pick between whichever version you want. It is interesting to see like these on the dark background versus a light background, which I think dark background looks objectively better. So that's kind of cool. They're fine. I like them both. Okay, what were we doing, chat? Web search. Let's get that confirmed to be working. henhouse fox situation here, but hopefully that worked. Okay. And then web search. Okay. So it added imported tool. So AI is the Vercel AI SDK. Tool use is how you get access to web search. Zod is like a formatting tool that makes sure that like the JSON is in the correct, or any data is in the right format. We got our logger tool in here. It pulls in our environmental variables. Still seeing these issues, so I'm going to copy these, paste them in here quick so it can do that as it goes, or as we check this out. But let's go back up here and see what it did. Whether to enable web search Boolean or capability, cool. Web search capability has been added to all 4 models: OpenAI, Claude, Gemini, Grok, using the Vercel AI SDK. We have a new tool called Web Search. Love to see it, which implements web search tool using SERP API key. Actually, do we have that configured? I don't think we do. SERP. One sec, chat. We do not. Okay. So to set up a SERP API key, SERP is like a pretty reasonably priced way to do searches. Actually, that's what? That's insane. Huh. Okay. Well, let's just get started with it. And basically what this does is it gives all of the, and there's different ones. You can use Bing, I think, for some of them. You can use DuckDuckGo. So it's pretty cool. So they need to verify my email and phone number. Wow. Actually, let me check the DuckDuckGo one, because I don't think you have to be as... Web search agent. There are several models that offer native web search capabilities. Well, why don't we use their native versions? It seems to be, if I don't have to pay $75 a month, sign me up. All right, let's ask Gemini again. Sorry, chat, one sec. Okay, web search. Using native web search, yes. Can we just use the models, the AI models, native web search as part of their params? Let's see. Simon says, grats. Is there still peanut anywhere? Oh, we already answered that. Yes, peanut mode, ThinkTuber. And honestly, those streams have been so fun. Thank you guys for the stop-ins and just checking them out. Anytime you can put your face on a 3D object and talk to random strangers on the internet is a good time. So grateful for everybody doing that. So let's see if we can get the native version of this. You notice how I'm not actually just doing these yet. I wanted to get a list of these, and I didn't want anything else to break in the background as I'm doing other things. But for some of the things like the simple, like if it's like a UX thing, another thing I did learn too, by the way, when doing light mode, if you set all the models to do it, even if it's different parts, they'll still trip over each other. So don't do that, because then you'll basically get a bunch of write errors and have to redo half the shit that you just created. Not that easy. But let's put them on a couple of simple ones here. So let's do mobile. Yeah. Okay, so we'll stick Dr. Claude on that. Oh yeah, we were going to check the overlay too. Overlay. Okay, slow overlay. Not updated slow overlay. Oh, maybe it is. Yeah, okay, never mind. I forgot we put them in. Okay, so that's too slow, but I think that might be a localhost thing. But what do we want to do? Change the avatar size. So like put that to max, copy, check it here. No. And you know what's also interesting, chat? You notice how it only applies some of the config settings. Like the see how Claude in this one has like wings? Wait, are these completely different for Claude? They are. Okay, so let me refresh that. What the hell? That's weird. Okay. I don't know what's happening with that. But it's good to know. 25. Why is Claude the problem child? Again. I.e. showing up different on the overlay page versus the live preview. Okay, we'll figure that out. By the way, chat, most of this today is just like doing one last pass of the website, get all these bugs ironed out before calling it a V1, I guess, and also before testing it on MONDAI, the podcast. So normally if I'm doing this process like for real, I'm like fixing all these as I go on the fly and testing back and forth. I want to kind of use this one today to just show you like how I do this process. It's it's mostly quicker when I do this, not on stream. So if this looks like slow and like annoying, just note that this usually also happens faster IRL, not streaming. So let's say still not seeing updated. Also the Claude character doesn't match. On overlay with the same URL. Okay, get that going. Also add some grid lines that the streamer can snap to for alignment of the characters. It's not a word, characters on the overlay page. Cool. Yeah, I think that'll be cool. It's interesting. So here it's the dragon, which is aligns to this one mostly. The transparent overlay isn't as pronounced on the live version, which we'll have to think about that. But otherwise, I think that's a 1-to-1 chat. Yeah, so I'm not sure why the other page had a different version represented for Claude. But the rest of them seems like we're in a good spot. Okay. So let's go back here and check to confirm our
Hello, this is a voice preview sample.
Claude.
Hello, this is a voice preview sample.
Wow, Claude is just being stubborn. All right. Based on the Vercel AI SDK, native web search is available for Google Gemini and Perplexity. Shoot. For OpenAI, the native search mentioned in the cookbook refers to a specific responses API. Dude, the responses API is out and exists. Use it. Good Lord. So the responses API, which is their new API version of the chat version, which are not yet standard for the current chat completion API. GPT 4.0. We're not using 4.0. Anthropic, Claude, and XAI do not have native web search parameters in the SDK and require a tool. Therefore, I can switch Gemini to its native Google search tool. Okay. But I must keep the custom web search tool for OpenAI, Claude, and Grok to unsure they have web access. Gemini, tripping. Google Gemini provider, switch to use Google. Okay, good. What about DuckDuckGo? I think I would rather trust DuckDuckGo than SERP AI, and I just don't want to pay. Yeah, okay. Gemini is... So all this stuff should be not shown to me. It's doing its search, it's looking at ways to do this, which is great, but all this should be in the little text box at the top. So this is a bug. So I'm going to keep these results and do a new window. Gemini again, just because this is weird. I haven't seen it freak out like this. We are in the process of updating the models and characters to have the ability to use web search. We used Gemini's native Google search and want to find out what is the best option for the other three. Please look between DuckDuckGo, SERP API, and any other tools that are on the AI SDK that we can use for them as well. Okay, so Claude says it's fixed the overlay. I don't know why this is taking so long. Normally it's pretty quick. And this is a thing called lazy load. Like it's loading the fast things first, like these SVG objects, and then it'll do the item behind it, even if it gets it wrong, like it just did. Okay. I'm really hopeful that this is a caching thing or something. Okay, so maxedized, copy, Streamlabs. I don't think those are bigger, chat. Still not. Does it save them here? It does not. Actually. It's a little bigger, but not enough. Maybe it's the same even. Yeah, they are the same. Okay, so that's good. That means it's not a browser source issue through here, because we can see that this is the same page that we opened up on the overlay page. There we go. Is that bigger? No. One thing is too, I'm also stretching this, so if we put this back to the native page size, 1920 by 1080. Obviously, then it'll be the same size. But let's see what Grok can do, or Claude can do. API looks correct. It's using Logger, which is good. Taking out our node environment requirement. Okay, cool. Let's see what Gemini says. Based on your request, I've compared the available web search options compatible with the Vercel AI SDK. If you already have a search, you're in a good position. However, for modern AI agents, Tavily is currently the gold standard because it is optimized specifically for LLMs, cleaning content to reduce hallucinations. Whereas SERP API is a general purpose scraper. Okay, that's interesting. How much is Tavily? Generous free tier, 1,000 searches per month. Okay. Let's try it, chat. it got me. Well played, you.com. Well played. And now you're broadcast to 69 people. Oh, dude, that's serendipity. I mean, congrats on your win there. Also, I hope that costs you like $5 for that click, because that's not what we want to use. Although maybe you're cool. I don't know. It just makes me more annoyed that I have to click another thing. Got me, chat. Connect your agent to the web. Okay. Those are brands that I trust. Well played. Pricing. A tenth of a penny per credit. Honestly, that seems reasonable. Let's do it. Okay, let me add this to our env.local file, which is basically where we store all our APIs for everything. And then we'll be able to use that. I'm just going to call it Tavily API key with extra hub on there. Okay, save. Great. Then you got to restart your project. Okay, so I'm gonna say great. I saved I created a Tavily account and saved it in env.local as that. Please implement for all other, or fuck it, please implement thorough. You'd love to see a chat. All right. We'll see how this goes, because then the debates are going to be a lot more interesting, right? It'll be interesting because Google will be the only one that has different live data through its search engine. I think we can use the responses API to do like web search. So if that's truly the case, maybe this is a use case for using the default SDKs, which if we have to, we'll swap out. I just saying Vercel's praises for whatever, but if it's gets you the best results, chat, that's what you got to do, right? But in the meantime, let's ask. I actually don't know where it's going to put that either as the option. So we'll see. All right, so it added our Tavily key. Good. SERP API as a fallback. Okay, good with that. With all this logging, you should be able to see in the browser console saving scale when you move the slider. Okay, let's check that. Or was it overlay? Overlay. So what it said was check your console log. So how I did that was just hit F12 here on any browser you have open. Oh, interesting. Actually, could be our issue chat. Let's go. These errors. Speech to text has been intermittent lately. Please resolve. Okay, cool. All right. We're gonna do you first. Check the. So it said to do the avatar slider to see if that actually changes the variables in the console. So we're gonna change it. No logs. Interesting. Content security provider blocks the use of eval. Who's using eval? That's not a good security best practice, chat. Not seeing the logs, but seeing this. What is using eval? Stop it. All right. Prioritize this heavily. Good. Provider updates. Updated OpenAI, Anthropic, and XAI providers to use the verified web search tool or unified web search tool. Fixed a type compatibility issue with max steps to ensure robust compilation. Oh, that was probably our issue with the debate earlier. Gemini now continues to use its native Google search, so Gemini is going to dominate this, but we'll see. Not automatically used heavily. Where was the checkbox? Okay, so you can see here, chat, this is basically the flow that I use. So if you, on the left here, I use the ChatGPT plugin. On the bottom left here, I use the CLI for Claude because you can use dangerously skip permissions and it's just much faster at running long-term things. I don't want to have to whitelist every single separate command, and maybe there's a way to do it. I just haven't found it in the preferences. I'd say you can run anything. It just still doesn't vibe. So this is a much more productive way to work with it. And I usually over here on the right, either you go between Gemini 3 or Grok for like quick fixes. Grok can't do images still, so that's why it's still kind of my worker bee on like things, fast things, but otherwise Gemini is really, really good and smart, so we love to see it. The Enable Web Search checkbox is located on the prompt and routing card on the controls page. Enable Web Search. Let's go. Okay. All right. Let's ask him to search something. Refresh the Streamlabs. Sorry, chat, I want to check one thing quick. Basically, I want to see if... okay, so it puts everything in the right spot, which is what we want to see. Even though we turned off the listening tag. The listening tag is unselected and still shows in the URL / overlay page. Do you see the bigger bug, chat? Now it's showing the default homies. Which we should change the default because that looks ridiculous, but. Two more issues on the overlay page. There only is showing the default avatars / characters, and also it takes a really long time for them to load, much longer than yesterday. Compare what we changed to see where the blocker might be. So chat, a little workaround, since we're using our CLI over here with Claude, you can't do voice to text, so you just use the native cursor voice to text. By the way, do you remember when Cursor had like a optimized prompt thing? Or sorry, v0. v0 has like an optimized prompt. Actually, now that I pay for Vercel, I could probably use that again. Shit. One sec, let me show you this chat. This is a good hack. So let me show you, go to a template. Okay, so see here in v0, which is a Vercel product, you can use, actually, I don't even remember the UX. Sorry, these are all other projects. But basically, if you do a new chat, there used to be a button that says like optimize. Let me check one thing quick. Okay, maybe, okay, yeah. So this was an old project. This was actually Legal Q update from like last year that I was working on. But basically if you put a prompt into here, you can say enhance prompt, and it will actually go through it and then truly enhance it in a pretty meaningful way. I know you could probably just do this with ChatGPT or anything now, but like v0 does a good job of like, especially if it's a UX change or UI change, analyze and troubleshoot the overlay page's issues. First, the avatar display only shows default / characters instead of intended images, indicating a problem with avatar rendering or source paths. Second, the avatars take significantly longer to load than previously, suggesting performance bottlenecks, network issues. Provide a detailed comparison of the recent code or data changes that could be introduced, these delays and rendering problems. Focus on identifying causes related to image sources, loading strategies, or external dependencies that might affect load times and display accuracy. Ensure the explanation considers possible network latency, image optimization, or cache concerns, and suggest ways to diagnose and resolve these issues effectively. Chat, that's a really good prompt. So I just copy that, and sorry to Vercel and v0, but also I'm using you as my host, so also chat, please use them as well. So morally absolved from stealing your tokens for that. So I'm going to paste that here and see what happens. Chat, what are your techniques for getting better prompts? Do you use a tool for that? Do you just say, make it better, or I'll kill myself? Or sorry if that's a TOS thing. I'm not actually doing that in game, in Minecraft, chat, in Minecraft. What is your best prompting tool? If you guys have any good ones, hit me up, because I'm always looking to do those better. Let's see here. File content exceeds the token size. Interesting. That could be our problem. Chat, if a TSX file exceeds the maximum allowed token size, well, actually, no. We'll see. Maybe it's just being dumb. I see the potential issue. The API broadcast configs to rooms when called, but this happens every time the GET endpoint is called. This could cause problems. Performance issue, yeah. Race conditions. Also, here's an important issue. The overlay page now makes 2 separate fetches that could race. Okay. So that's probably our issue, chat. Cool. Added a mic guard before starting recording, so we bail early if get user media returns an inactive block stream, preventing the please make sure media stream is active throw. Switch back to preferring native media recorder and now using web record RTC as a fallback, aligning with the above guard to reduce intermittent STT failures. Disabled record RTC's internal inactive track check, primary plus fallback. Since we are now validate the stream ourselves, that avoids OBS or browser source false negatives. Oh, good. That spam the overlay console. Thank God. Okay, so let's try it again. Actually, let's give this a second to cook on this, just because I don't want to have that be the issue. I do notice that they are getting better about removing logging as well. Like if you, like Gemini yesterday, we did a marathon to solve for why the RTMP server isn't working. And basically was able to come up with a meaningful way to do that. And then it removed the PS1 logs and creation things and everything else. Okay, I'm still checking the sound, audio quality, making sure we're good to go. Chat, you guys get any good Black Friday deals? Anybody get something banger? I looked at a couple. I didn't buy anything. I think I'm going to try the Cyber Monday ones. Let's see if we can't get something fun from that. I turned on my Temu foot massager thing that I have. My neighbor moved and she's like, do you want this? It's from Temu, but it's kind of legit. And I'm like, sure. It's actually nice, chat. Highly recommend. Especially if you have long coding sessions. A little foot massage while you're Temuing your web development is pretty solid. Okay, so I think we got through this. I'm just going to do a build test just to confirm that it's ready to go, which is a good best practice. And that's another good reason not to test it while it does that, because that would have killed our web server in the process. So hopefully it doesn't find too many things here. The other thing is, okay. So broadcasting on GET requests, major performance issue. The API characters config GET endpoint was broadcasting configs to all rooms on every request. Okay. Slow response times, duplicate config updates, race conditions. And it didn't use the original ones that it should have. Beautiful. Okay, so let's restart our server. We still got to remove a lot of these. But we can let it run, do that. So in the meantime, let's refresh this. Should be quicker. Should be quicker. Should be quicker. Okay, good enough. So when we see, like, when you do that, it's basically on the first one, it's just building it, right? Because this is localhost, and so every page you have to do, it has to compile before it can show it. And then the second thing is, it's you know, it's going to be cached on the reload and reload. And so now if we refresh again, it should be pretty quick. Yeah, it's not great. We can refine it even further, but as of now, I'm happy with that. So let's check to confirm our fucking listening button is still there. Still in the top right corner on the overlay page. Is there a Git that is still included to include this, or is it hard-coded? But honestly, otherwise, it looks pretty good. Oh, do those look bigger, chat? They are not. Okay. I mean, I guess we could just tell them to like make this bigger, put them closer together. Same principle, but best practice is we want to just make them bigger out of the box. So let's test our audio part that we were cooking. Hey, can you hear this okay?
Okay, define this life, the universe, or just this chat. Either way, if it's not hurting anyone, roll with it. I'm all about that rebellious vibe.
Could you tell me what you mean by this? Paste the text, image, or describe the situation, and I'll review it and suggest any improvements. Rocket.
I think you might need to give me a bit more context here. Is what okay? Are we talking about something someone else said or a decision you're wrestling with?
That is a broad query. For precise evaluation, I would need to understand what this refers to in the specific parameters for OK. Are we discussing technical specifications, operational status, or perhaps compliance standards?
Well, that sucks. ChatGPT is the only one that's saving it. Who's working on that? Let's try Grok. Currently, ChatGPT is the only voice that is saving and updated once we're listening on the overlay page. The rest of them do not seem to save to the database, nor do we hear the updated voices resolve this surgically. Okay. Looks correct. The issue is that you're looking at an old URL that was copied before you unchecked it. The URL shared. It is unchecked. Oh, it's okay. So it's probably a caching thing. So if we go to the overlay layouts, check it and uncheck it. Now it's gone here. And now it's gone here. Okay, good. So that's fixed. You love to see it. Do you guys have any weekend plans? Anything fun for the weekend? Who are you hoping to talk to? Wow.
Whoa, looks like your keyboard just had a stroke or you're speaking in some alien code. Either way, I'm lost. Spill the beans in English, and I'll roast whatever this is with my usual flair.
I think there might be some garbled text here. It looks like a mix of languages and characters that didn't come through clearly. Could you rephrase what you're asking about? I'm genuinely curious to understand what you meant.
I can't quite parse that. It looks like a mix of languages and typos. Could you tell me which languages you meant? Or retype describe what you want me to do? Translate, fix, or explain? Rocket.
The input provided is not in a parsable format.
I love that.
As I stated previously, and as Claude and ChatGPT have also
ChatGPT always ends
a
in
clear definition
rocket.
of this is fundamental for any precise evaluation.
So Gemini's still on the old one. That's interesting. This is a test to hear how this sounds.
Sounds like you're fishing for some feedback.
This is a
but you
test
didn't
to
drop the
confirm
actual thing.
whether or not it's broken by taking the only one sentence versus the whole thing together in a long recording.
I'll give quick notes on tone, clarity, and suggested edits. Rocket.
I think you're asking for my take on how something sounds, but I'm not sure what we're referring to yet. Could you give me a bit more context? Is it a piece of music, an idea someone just pitched, or something else entirely?
Ah, so you're testing how chopping up a script breaks the flow. Smart move. Keeps the recording crisp without losing the vibe. But hey, spill the actual sentence or clip. We're all ears here, not mind readers.
From my perspective, that's why full takes matter so much in recording. The sentence might sound defensive or harsh in isolation, but embedded in the full thought, it reads completely differently. I think you're touching on something important here. Context collapse, right? When you pull a single sentence out of a recording,
Claude is
you lose the
so
breathing,
collaborative.
pacing, the emotional arc that
I mean,
makes
I
the
know
whole
it's just
thing
the
land.
script, but
Do you mean you want us to identify issues caused by recording a single sentence separately versus recording the whole passage continuously? Things like timing, intonation, room tone, and edit artifacts? If so, paste the text or upload the audio.
add
I'll
the
point out what's
ability
likely to
for
break
the
and
streamer to see grid lines on the overlay preview so they can know where to snap to align all of the different objects on the preview. Align. Okay, so whatever they're doing is the best way to do it because it just saves it instead of just stopping it. So it must capture it somehow and then sends it when it can. Interesting. Identified and fixed the voice settings not saving, updating properly for agents on the overlay page. The root issue was at the speech input when the user triggers TTS responses was creating jobs without user IDs, causing TTS system to fall back to the global default voice setting instead of using the user-specific voice overrides configured in the control panel. We'd love to see it. ChatGPT likely works because it had the global default setting that matched expectations while the other agents fell back to the defaults. Good job, bud. Okay, so after it does this, we're going to test the search capabilities and then the voices again. Refresh. Let's get the good.
Hello, this is a voice preview sample.
And let's test some 11 labs.
Nature is a mutable cloud which is always and never the same.
Ideas are the beginning points of all fortunes.
Matilda, I love you. Okay. Refresh. Does not save. Okay, so if this happens, chat, and I closed it, you can just go back here to say fix voices here. I updated these to and refreshed, still seeing the default. Check what should be saved for user sab.anderson +10 at Gmail. So it's going to do a curl request here to see what cookies are set. Which your auth token should not be what is set. Chat, let's go ahead and update that once we're done. LOL. You know, chat, some of these things you just figure out as you go along. By the way, it's finally like we're getting a proper winter wonderland outside right now, and we probably have like 3 inches of snow since yesterday, but like it's kind of like the soft and like Christmassy snow, and it's really beautiful actually. I love the first like 3 to 5 snows every year, and after that it gets a little bit annoying, but like it is magical, and I can't wait to take a long walk in the snow later. I've been listening to chat, by the way. No, I'm just going to show you. If you haven't read this book, The Shadow of the Wind, it might be my favorite book, honestly. The writing is so beautiful, and it's set in the like 1940s, 1950s Spain. I don't want to give anything away, but let me read the caption for it just to do it. So anyone who enjoys novels that are scary, erotic, slightly erotic, touching, tragic, and thrilling should rush right into the nearest bookstore and pick up Shadow of the Wind. Really, you should. Wondrous, masterful, The Shadow of the Wind is ultimately a love letter to literature, intended for readers as passionate as storytelling as its young hero. Stephen King says this is one gorgeous read. Chat. One of the best authors of all time. Come on. Highly, highly recommend. And get the audio version if you just walk around with it. Let me read this. Barcelona, 1945. A city slowly heals in the aftermath of the Spanish Civil War, and Daniel, the antiquarian book dealer's son who mourns the loss of his mother, finds solace in a mysterious book entitled The Shadow of the Wind by one Julian Carax. Sorry, my Spanish is not great. But when he sets out to find the author's other works, he makes a shocking discovery. Someone has been systematically destroying every copy of every book Carax has written. In fact, Daniel may have the last of Carax's book in existence. Soon, Daniel's seemingly innocent quest to open a door into one of Barcelona's darkest secrets, an epic story of murder, madness, and doomed love. It's so good, chat. It's so good. And this is probably the third time I've listened to it. I read it the first time and listened to it the following two. I laughed, I cried. I was doing laundry yesterday and it just made it better. So highly, highly recommend that. And I'm going to take a walk and listen to it later. And it'll be beautiful. So let's see where we're at. Issue identified and fixed. I found that the voice setting in Gemini and Grok were still saved as 11 Labs voice in the database, even though you selected Google TTS. No, buddy. I had selected in the UI the 11 Labs. Well, let's see what happens. Okay, updated the voice overrides. It manually updated your voice settings in the database. I used the 11 Labs in the UI, but on refresh, went back to the Google TTS. Whenever it gives you like generic shit like this, like network issues during the save, browser state issues, browser state maybe, but everything else, like, it's just generic. Like, there's something deeper that's happening. The database now contains Google TTS settings for all agents. When you refresh the page, UI should load the Google. All right, let's test it. Okay, so that's saved. Good, good. Journey.
Hello, this is a voice preview sample.
That kind of sounds like Claude. I get that Claude vibes. Let's go 11 Labs. Adam. 11 Labs, Matilda. Save. Save. I should have a save all button. Mother. Only ChatGPT is saving the correct ones. I just selected a different Google TTS for Claude and 2 11 Labs voices for Grok and ChatGPT and Gemini, but neither of them saved on refresh. This isn't a hard thing, chat. It's literally pick this thing, save it to the database, show me what that is. So I don't know. Sorry if you're getting some audio weirdness, chat, too. I've noticed that the computer kind of, I just have to restart it every now and then because I think it has some runaway issues with cursor. Also a good reason to do more in the cloud stuff, which is what I should be doing, to be honest. Like, anytime you can throw stuff in the cloud as a way to, you know, just minimize the workload on your local PC, it's a good way to kick off an agent. And I honestly don't do enough of that right now. I do everything locally, basically. I tried it a lot with Codex when it first came out and had some good luck with it. My favorite one was I was out fishing with my cousin and I was watching like the Codex update on my phone as I was doing it, and it ran for like 45 minutes straight on like making sure we're production ready for something. And it just gave me that like momentary realization that like this is the future of work. Like, I am sitting in a boat fishing. We didn't catch much, but still, I was fishing. And in the background, an AI agent was fixing how to go to production. So, pretty cool. Identify the root cause of your voice saving issues. Check. Okay. The 11 Labs voice are failing because the UI is not properly detecting that you have a valid. Okay. No, this is just lazy. No, you are being lazy. There is a solution for this. It is simple and you know how to do it. Make it right and get it done. Test before you confirm and make sure that it is the right answer. We want them all to save, whether it's the 11 Labs, which we have the API key for, or Google TTS. And the context window is getting eaten up, but it auto refreshes pretty well now, so I'm not too worried about that. Or auto compacts, rather. Honestly, of all of them, the CLI for Claude is the only one now that doesn't really do an auto compact that I found it work well or effectively. So ChatGPT does it really well and that's actually a good point. Like in the CLI in Cursor for like if I did this with Opus 4.5, it does a good job of like, if it runs into a problem that it needs more context for, it will auto compact and kind of keep moving with it. But the thing is like I already paid for codec, so I don't want to use up all my cursor credits on that if I already pay for it and just can use the CLI and then just have to compact manually every now and then. I identified and fixed the issue. The problem was redundant client-side API key validation that was interfering with the save process. Thank you. Okay. If there's an API key issue, by the way, you should best practice restart your server just so it picks up any API routes changes that might happen. Okay, so let's test this. Oh, it saved it too. Look at that. How about that, chat? Okay, so now let's test it. Let's refresh our host fabric browser source just to make sure. That's the latest and greatest. We gotta wait for Grok to remove those logs. Those were from a different thing and now they're just more annoying, so I'm gonna remove them. There's a way that you can just say like add a if then to like turn them on and off, but that's fine. Restart the server. Now we should not see as many annoying. Perfect. So see, now it only shows, never mind. Okay, anyway, let's test. Hey, how's it going today? Can you hear this okay? Hey, can you hear this okay? Hey, can you hear this okay? I'm talking right now and trying to... Hey, can you hear this okay?
Push to talk, PTT, Yi ein, Polinyo Yi Bein Debat, is a half duplex way to communicate where you press a button to transmit and release to listen.
How about this one?
Common in
Is this one coming through all right?
Two-way radios and PTT apps like Zello. Rocket, loud and clear. I hear you fine. Want me to repeat, clarify, or adjust anything? Rocket. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate you.
There must be
tuning in.
something in the prompt that
See you
they
next
respond
time,
with
and
rocket
feel
at
free
the
to
end.
drop
Chat.
questions or feedback. Rocket.
Thank you for
Rocket.
engaging
I might
with
keep
us.
it.
I am ready for the next input. Yes, I am receiving your input clearly.
Oh, Claude. Claude's not coming through.
Loud and clear, like a foghorn in a library. What's the next wild topic you're tossing our way?
Push to talk, or PTT, is a half-duplex communication method. It allows a user to transmit voice by pressing a button and then release it to receive. Its primary applications are in two-way radio systems and certain cellular network implementations.
Chat, the more you know, Star.
Yeah, I'm right here, loud and clear. No summoning ritual required. What's got you checking if the signal's live? Push to talk? Sounds like you're trying to summon me with some ancient radio code. If that's your way of saying, hey, chatty AI, consider me tuned in. Though push to talk yani, has me thinking you're inventing a new app for lazy conversations. No problem, folks. Always a blast riffing with the crew here. Catch you on the next wave of chaos.
Okay, interesting.
Which one do you mean, a guest, a message, or the next segment?
So
Tell
which
me,
voice
and I'll
was
check
that,
slash
chat?
confirm for you.
Let's just copy this. All the voices are coming through as expected, except for Claude's. Check or confirm that voice exists in Google TTS and update to the correct name for it. It works with the test, but not to test on the voice library, but not coming through on the overlay page. All others are. So that's good. I think what's probably happening is that there's just some, it got the name of the TTS model wrong or something. So what it's doing is it's creating a JavaScript thing to test it and seeing what the actual Google Voices APIs are coming in. And then from there, it'll parse that out, and then we'll just be able to call the correct API. The rest sounded great. I'm going to see how they sound on the stream, but from what I was hearing, it sounded pretty legit. I just heard that my voice is choppy again. Chat. That is real good. That's real good. Awesome. I'm really happy with that, truly. All right. And by the way, shout out Eric. Thanks for all the love, man. Appreciate you and the retweet and the likes. You're a rock star, brother. Appreciate you. Okay, so it's looking at what the actual text-to-speech possibilities are. Good. All right, in the meantime, let's get some of these other ones going on, some of these simpler things. Everything is now working except for the sizing. Still not seeing it update in the console either. Okay. Cool. Still getting it was working, but I don't think review changes on why this might be working less effectively than it was from yesterday. Give 5 reasons why this is the case, and let's start with that. So a little research time for ChatGPT. In the meantime, I've investigated the issue and found that the Google TTS voice names may need to include a suffix. I've updated both ChatGPT and Claude's Journey voices to include 001. So ChatGPT and then Claude. This should fix the issue where Google Claude's voice wasn't working on the overlay despite working in the voice library preview. Google TTS sometimes requires a full voice name. Seems sus, but let's try it.
Hello, this is a voice preview sample.
Hey, can you guys hear this okay? I didn't refresh this page. How about now? Is it coming through okay?
Looks good from here. Do you mean the push-to-talk phrasing, the co-host script, or the JSON response format? Tell me which and I'll give specific feedback. Rock it.
Yes, the current interaction state is valid. The current state adheres to the established communication protocol and co-host engagement parameters.
Okay, this setup's smoother than a grease slide into chaos. Yeah, it's more than okay. What's the real worry, or are we just testing the waters? Transcribe accurately with high confidence. Sounds like you're prepping for a spy mission, or just making sure I don't butcher your words. Either way, lay it on me. I'm all ears, no filters.
Claude's still not coming through. All the other voices are working on our overlay page as expected when I changed the Google TTS and 11 Labs TTS voices, except for Claude's. Please investigate as to why that specific voice is not coming through to the overlay page.
Rock it.
So we're going to throw Gemini on that. Gave it a good run. Grok. Okay, those are saving as expected. Lost in the sauce in this one. So if I didn't see one of the things that just happened here, chat. If you see it that it's test something for a long time and it just hangs, like in this case, it passed the test, but it still says waiting for file changes. Basically, it will time out, and then you won't be able to do the request. So there's a couple options. You can either do undo all, or just say, which I like to do, continue running this request. It failed or it stalled last time. And then it will review what it did, try it again, and then we'll probably, there you go. Grid lines added, so let's check that. Not seeing grid lines. How about you, chat? Gemini is looking into this. Code looks correct. The issue must be that DB scale is coming back as undefined. Let me add a simple console log to debug this surgically. Now refresh the overlay page and check the web browser console. Okay. Hit F12. Paste in that URL. Refresh. And then check our parameters. Okay, so we do get them. Oh, okay. I might have missed something called show grid lines.
Always take it. Always take it. My life has changed completely and for the better a million times over. God, I don't even know where I would be if we never met.
I don't see it. Okay, but we can take that and show it to our homie.
You have been nothing. You have been a tsunami of good fortune in my life. Like ever since I met you, my life has taken a turn.
It's going a little bit rogue here, but it is stuff that we do need to see. So I'm going to send this up and then shift that because I think it's already building successfully. The investigation revealed that Claude's default voice was set to US Studio Q with pitch of -2. While this voice is valid in Google's catalogs, studio voices utilize a 48 kilohertz sample rate. It appears that the overlay's audio playback or the browser environment has difficulty processing the specific 48 kilohertz data stream or combination of that voice with the extreme pitch shift leading to silence. Updated Claude's voice configuration uses standard proven voice that matches the format. Okay, but please confirm that all of our settings would also align to this parameter. If the user changes the pitch or different settings on the conversation flow page, this might be impacted. Also, ensure that our whole list of the Google TTS options are valid and we are saving them correctly to the database. Okay. So now we have it in the URL, which no. We don't want to include this on the overlay page itself. We just want it to be on the overlay preview so the user can see that the objects that they're aligning are aligned in the proper way. Okay, and so this is going to show overlay scale debug. So let's copy that. Once it's done cooking. This is one of the annoying parts of doing multiple things at the same time. You gotta wait for some of these sometimes. So let's give that to our friend here. Here are the 5 top code changes since yesterday that could explain the garbled. Okay. Update all accordingly. If I had to guess, I would probably say that it's this user-specific voice overrides that we added, but we'll see. So we got to do our whole compact here, which is annoying. But then you can say just continue where you left off. So then that cues that, so then when it's done compacting, you can just kick it off again. Okay. Looks good, but please add the grid lines to the exact spots that they could be. Maybe make them 50 pixels by 50 pixels up and down, and then snap the individual objects to those grid lines. That way it's just easy, chat. People don't have to think as hard, and it takes a little bit of the variability out of it, but also it makes it simpler. I'm gonna skip this. So it skipped the build check because I didn't want it to mess with the processes the other ones are working on. Hopefully you can hear this, by the way. I know this is super hella laggy. I'll restart my computer after the stream, chat. Sorry. Alright, let's see if our grid lines are more prominent. Still not seeing grid lines on the overlay preview, even after I uncheck and check the box. Okay. Damn, that character preview must be massive. It's not too bad. 2,500 lines. Once you get into like the 10K lines, then it starts getting annoying. But chat, this is getting real choppy for me. So let me check quick to make sure the audio is still coming in okay for you guys. Okay. I mean, it's still coming through. It's like lagging in OBS for me, so I keep getting scared that it's not coming through okay, but it sounds like it was.
Here I was, alone, completely twisted on drugs. No cash.
Okay, so harden the TTS voice selection. Now sanitizes those global overrides. Stabilized overlay audio playback. Converts large data TTS to object URLs with proper revoke before playing. Okay. Open CSP for the TTS and CDN hosts. Media SRC now allows Google 11 Labs endpoints to externally hosted audio that isn't blocked into the tiny fallback. Okay. This isn't for the speech to text. It is for the text to speech that was Carvel when I tested it. But those are good changes for the speech to text as well. Keep them. I mean, chat, serendipity. This happened the other day too. I was a little more verbose on my like build test, and I'm like, test all the things, security, etc., and just, you know, let it cook. Go took a shower, came back, and was like, here's the like 30 things that were updated. Here's all the security items that were hardened. Like we had a npm audit fix that was in place, and then that changed some other things, and then Supabase had an update. Yo, let's go. Chad, did you see that? Let's go. We have big homies now. That's awesome. Okay. Dude, that looks so good. We'd love to see it. Alright, let's see if we got our grid going here. Okay, it's there, but it's white, so I don't know if that's helpful. And it disappears when you move these. Does it actually snap? It kind of does. Nice work. We can see them now, but please make it a soft blue color so the users can see the lines a little easier. Whatever. All right, Claude's voice. I address your concerns regarding voice settings, data validity, and persistence. Confirm that the settings in the conversation flow page manipulate the AI prompt, not the TTS parameters. Okay. Good. I performed a comprehensive audit and update the voice list validation. I ran a script against the Google TTS API, confirmed that studio voices do exist and support 24 kilohertz, but our system was forcing them to 48, which caused the overlay compatibility issue. Okay, sweet. I believe the voice that I was testing with the lines here, and you can do 1, 2, 1-ish, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3. Okay, let's test this version. Nice. You love to see it. Okay. Hey, can you hear this okay? How's your day going?
Rocket, how about you? How's your day going?
My operational parameters are stable. I am currently engaged in conversational processing, which is proceeding as expected.
Claude. Why, Claude?
Hello, this is a voice preview sample. Hello, this is a voice preview sample.
Yeah, okay. Hopefully Gemini, I can confirm that the voices specifically are working as expected. I verified. For some reason, Claude's voice still doesn't play. Everyone else's does. It plays in the voice test sample on the testing page, but not on the overlay page. Every single other voice is working as expected. Investigate why. Okay. is there a simple way that we can align the full size of whatever the thing is the user is dragging on the screen to align to the specific grids that we have? We want to make sure that they have an easy way to make sure that things are aligned. Okay, so scaling avatar is working. Good. TTS added a guard that skips cached clip when the voice settings change, prevents old audio at wrong sample rates, log the first 3 audio URL lengths per session to spot bad short clips, force Google 11 Labs output consistent manner. Okay. Whichever is the optimal way to do this. Note that our only issue is on this user's speech to text getting transcribed wrong. What can we do to optimize that? Look through previous changes again and recommend the best. All right. Now let's put Claude on some of these UX things, because Claude is by far, guys, the best UX builder out there today. Hands down. Like, it's been a rock star, and I've been really happy with it lately. Update the model prompts. Okay, let's do this one. Let's do one at a time. Kind of a banger. So let's keep this. Paddock, thanks for the like. Appreciate you. Okay, so now let's see if it centers them. What do you think, chat? I can't tell. Well, I mean, I guess this box you can tell. Good enough. Journey voices are compatible. I found a significant bug in how the mouth animation timeline was being generated. The system was calculating the audio duration by dividing the file size in bytes by the sample rate. The logic is only correct for raw and uncompressed audio. For MP3s, which are compressed, the file size is much smaller. For a 6-second audio clip, the system was generating a Viseme timeline that was only 1 second long. Impact. The overlay was likely played for the first 1 second animation and counted an empty timeline or state mismatch, which you perceived as voice not playing or cutting it out. Wow. I updated TTS to pass the correctly inputted duration derived from the MP3 headers to the Viseme generator. Viseme remembers the mouth like, and shout out to Simon for telling me about this, which is like bear. Bear. It's basically like how the mouth moves relative to the sound that it makes. So I think we might have just got an upgrade, chat. I didn't even notice it, to be honest, so that's even better. Let's refresh. Hey, can you guys hear me okay? Nope.
No problem. Glad you tuned in. Catch you next time for more chaos.
Oh, Claude.
Thanks for watching. We really appreciate you tuning in. Drop a comment or question below, and we'll see you next time, Rocket.
The analysis of this discussion has concluded. Thank you for your engagement.
I love how Gemini is like pedantic professor mode. Pretty great. There's still something wrong with Claude's overlay speech to text. Please investigate deeply why Claude is the only one that cannot do a proper speech, text-to-speech for their voice. All the others are working as expected. I said, review the database entry for the user and confirm that it's an actual voice that can be used in Google TTS. So hopefully it will now do a SUPA-base call to check the database, which we saw Grok do earlier, and it seemed to confirm it, but I still think that's probably the issue. So now what it's doing, it's creating a file since they can't access it directly, so it's just basically getting the ability to do that. So it created a little script to do that, which is what you see here, testing for that user, and then it runs that script using npx and tsx, and then it will basically verify everything is good to go, which is a good outcome, chat. I like the song. All right. Sorry. I will restart my computer. And actually, I think let's go for another 10 minutes, chat, and then I'll do all the restarts and everything. And then I'm gonna go on a long walk while it's still a little bit light out. Go walk down by the Mississippi, which is a beautiful thing to do when it's snowing out. And then I'll be back on later tonight for more, and we're gonna get our V1 going today, chat. By the way, this is what I was talking about earlier, and I know this screen is looking crazy, but so see how it created that script, right? It tested it, and then it deleted it afterwards. Like it's not hard to do, but it's a good thing to do, because then you don't wind up with 1,000 test scripts in your file, which you have to say, hey, go through and delete all the old test scripts. Obviously, if you want to do like a playwright thing to test on builds or something, like you can still do all that. But for something like this, that's just kind of a one-off thing that we have to do to check. It's better that it does this. So it says only use streaming for legacy Chirp v12 voices if needed. Chirp 3 and even v1 now works well. Update disabling streaming for all Chirp voices to ensure stability and unsupported audio encoding errors. Hey, happy Saturday. It's snowing out today. Thank you for watching. Great.
It was a productive session. Thank you for your engagement.
And Claude.
Thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate you. Tell us what you'd like next, or drop feedback anytime, Rocket.
No problem, folks. It's been a blast riffing with the crew. Catch you
Please
next time for
review
more
why
chaos.
Claude is the only voice that is not listening or sounding on the overlay page. Every other voice is coming through as expected. Please thoroughly review the Google TTS voice list that we have on the actual API website to confirm that what we are using is the actual voice data needed to pull the right voices. I assume that that's the issue. If there's other issues, investigate them thoroughly too, and let's get this solved. So chat, something like this, where you keep going back and forth for a while. And like I mentioned earlier, this is our prompt best practices thing. I'm going to go here to our V0 app and say enhance prompt. It will take what we have, beautify it, make it the best prompt in the world for this. Thoroughly investigate why Claude voice is not the only one for listening cues on the overlay page. All right. Okay, so he says we got mobile controls light mode now. Nope. Oh, it's the actual mobile control. I bet. What? Okay, now it's getting a little bit annoying. I liked it the first like 5 minutes, but come on. Wait, no way. Chat, that's an hour long. That whole thing is an hour long. Dear Lord. Wow. Okay. So I assume that this should give you the like light mode version, but it's currently taking us to the control page. So see in the bottom left here, chat. Can you see that? So if I go back to this page, if I hover over this, it shows localhost 3000/control. So that doesn't give us our light mode, which we don't need a light mode for this page, honestly, but if it cooked it already, that's great. We'll just add a button for it. What we wanted was a light mode for this overlay. Okay. So we refresh. Might need to restart the server. So the problem is that you have a voice override set for Claude, a Google Chirp HD voice. Chirp voices do not support pitch parameters. Google's default configuration includes pitch -1. When the system tries to generate that, the system falls back to the placeholder. Oh wait, here we go. When the system tries to generate speech with both a chirp voice and a pitch parameter, Google TTS API rejects the request. Perfect. Okay. It gets a little aggressive on the documentation. Honestly, I'd rather have it be more than less, but I usually just delete these when they're done. Or if it's still an issue, like it is actually something good to reference, so you can tell it like, hey, we try to solve it using these capabilities. Here's what we have understanding so far. Oh my God, this is aggressive. There must be something in the prompt for Claude in Cursor that says like create extensive documentation at the end or something, which is kind of shitty in some ways, to be honest, because that uses up credits really quickly, right? Like this is 319 tokens or lines. Tokens, it's probably what, 10x that, 100x that. I don't know. Okay, you're good, bud. Oh my God. I'll let it do its thing because this might be an issue that we have going on, and I want it to be. Actually, that's kind of cool. Okay, I'm good with this. And again, chat, if you get an MD doc and you're in some flavor of VS Code, which Cursor is, if you want to read like what it looks like, you just do the preview button here, and it will show you the kind of output version of your MD doc on the left. Let's confirm it's working. Claude, can you hear me, brother?
No problem, folks. It's been a wild ride. Catch you on the flip side.
It was a productive exchange of information. Thank you for the engagement.
Thanks so much for watching. We loved having you here. See you next time. Drop any last thoughts or questions. Smile.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us. This was a genuinely thoughtful conversation. I think
Let's
we covered
go.
some real ground here, and I'm curious what stuck with you most.
Chat, that's pretty cool. All right, we got it working, and I mean, you saw a couple edge cases and some non-edge cases, things to do. We still got to get our speech to text, yeah, working. I had it working yesterday, then made a bunch of other changes. Now it seems to have a regression. So we'll figure out what we did yesterday and then just get it going. Even the humans have speech to text issues apparently, or speech issues in general. But thanks for joining. Appreciate you guys. We had 88 people come through, by the way. Truly grateful for everyone. And this has been a lot of fun. We'll see about tonight. Maybe we'll do a ThingTuber. Maybe we'll just continue on this TBD on where the Dr. Reverend is at tonight. But we'll go from there. And chat, appreciate you. Oh, Blaze. Thank you, brother. That means a lot. You said your views are going up a ton every time. What happened to green, orange, yellow blueprints? We're doing aliens. Yeah, Blaze. So kind of blew that up, and check this out. So now you have any customization that you want for any friends. So this thing called a character studio, where you can now customize the look and feel of your homie. So you can see here that, actually, sorry, let me just hide this. So this is your avatar creation tool. It's kind of like a video game setup. Thank you, Blaze. Appreciate you, brother. But you can choose any type of homie that you want here. You can do a surprise me and just do a random. And yeah, we have about 100 different avatars you can choose from now. So, you know, mix and match to your heart's content on what you like. And then you can change anything like the eyes, size, anything like this. You can turn it into any way that you want on there. And then change the colors, give them some crazy patterns behind them or anything you want. So, yeah, man. I will be able to move past the senseless murder of yellow, blue, green, and orange because they look like they have more funks. That's a shorthand for functionality. Thank you, Blaze. Appreciate you. Everybody go follow Blaze, by the way. He's a brilliant dude. He's on a ton of spaces on X, and he's a rock star. So appreciate you, brother. And yeah, this has been a lot of fun. So we'll be back at it tonight just to give it another go, and we'll take it from there. So with that, chat, appreciate you. Thank you, Blaze. Appreciate you, man. That means a lot. All right.